What distinguishes candle from other lights is that it appeals to our soul, not our eyes. That's from Mehmet Murat Odan. Welcome to the First Existentialist Congregation of Atlanta's Celebration of Life. My name is Jan Wister, and I will be your facilitator today. Our musician is the fabulous Gene Heinrich. And it's time for our opening song, so please rise in body or spirit as you're willing and able.
You all, the opening song is in the White Songbook Addendum, Lead with Love. A, B, C, D, it's L. Lead with Love. And this is kind of a new song. Some of you may not know it.
We are a philosophically based spiritual community dedicated to human liberation and founded on existentialist and feminist principles. By existentialist principles, we mean that we are what we do in the world and we accept responsibility for our choices and our actions. By feminist principles, we mean that we accept and actively support freedom and justice for every person. We support diversity as a source of strength and actively include everyone. We make our spiritual home in the old stone church, which was hand-built 100 years ago by the members, you can get this from Patton, of the African American Antioch East Baptist Church. We honor their labors of love and the powerful history of this special place, which was deliberately and maliciously taken away from them. We acknowledge that our spiritual home stands on land forcibly taken from the Muskogee Creek people, and we support justice and equality for all Indigenous people. At this time, I'd like to remind you to please put your electronic devices on silent. Oops, I did that. And if you have any community announcements, please write them down and bring them up to me, and I will announce them shortly. There are pens and paper index cards on the back table for your convenience. And also, please feel free to kind of move around if you want in the sanctuary, but just do so quietly so as not to disturb others. We have coffee and tea in the back, in the kitchen, and a bathroom near the front door, and there's also one downstairs. Our speaker today is Doris Mukangu, whose topic is Refugee Women, Economic and Health Empowerment. I had the immense pleasure of speaking with Doris for quite a while last week, and I can tell you that the work that she does is remarkable. I myself have often wondered how it would be like to be in a country where you don't speak language, I don't know the customs, I don't understand how the government works, and I don't know anybody, and having to figure out how to survive. It's a daunting thought. It's a very scary thought. But refugees aren't here because they necessarily want to be here. Nobody wants to leave their homes and come to another country, especially under the conditions that I just mentioned. But unfortunately, there are people out there who not only want to help, did I say unfortunately? I meant fortunately. Very fortunately. There are people out there who not only want to help, but who dedicate their lives to it. And Doris is one of those persons. And I'm very excited to hear more about what she does. I will tell you that one of the things that Doris's organization does is teach women how to sew so that they can learn a skill and earn their own money. And Doris has brought some samples of their work at the table in the back. And so please take a look. They are for sale. And I was looking at them, and they're just amazingly beautiful. I've already bought a purse. And I think that is already sold 2 purses. Anyway, it's great stuff. To be called a refugee is the opposite of an insult. It is a badge of strength, courage, and victory. And that's from the Tennessee Office for Refugees. It is the obligation of every person born in a safer room to open the door when someone in danger knocks. It's from Dina Nayeri. Okay, we'd like to take this moment to recognize any newcomers who may be here today for the first time, or maybe the second time, who hadn't been here in a while. I see several faces.
Yeah, I want to introduce my sister and brother-in-law who are visiting from Tempe, Arizona.
All right. Thank you for coming. Yes? Yeah.
Good morning, I'm Doris and I brought my good friends Emma and Reggie. And we're very happy to be here this morning.
I'm very happy to have you here. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, well, let me just point out our little brochure, or pamphlet, or whatever you want to call it. There's a connection card inside if you want to find out more about us, or if you want us to find out more about you, just fill it out. If you're interested in getting the newsletter or a weekly e-blast, you can put that in there, and just put it in the collection plate, and we'll get back. Okay, that's everybody? Now's the time to celebrate anyone who's present that may be celebrating a milestone, such as a birthday, anniversary, some special occasion. Where?
Birthday, 69. La 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 la. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, we don't have any youth here today, but just a quick reminder that if you plan to bring any kids, please let us know about a week ahead of time so we can make arrangements to have our caretakers here. Is Marcia here today? I don't see her. Okay. Do we have any community announcements?
Time for a song.
Yeah. Birthdays or motivational song.
I changed this to a new thing, but that's fine. Let's do a song. I'd love to do a song.
Okay, great. This is We Let the Love Wash Over Us, or Spill Over Us. I can't remember now. Wash, oh good, you all know. And so this song I like to do with choreography. Suit yourselves. But I invite you to stand in body or spirit or rise, and willing and able. And we let the whatever it is, we're going to gather it up. And it's going to wash over us. And us, right? Yourself. And others, right? And then we let it be. Okay? Okay. So, I'm just going to play it once.
that song.
Oh, that is beautiful. Oh, that is beautiful. Oh, wow.
Do we have any community announcements? Okay then. It's now time. We have kind of reformat. I'm just trying to get it. Okay, it's now time for our silent meditation. This is a time when you may light candles if you wish, for those you love. Just sit and reflect, meditate. Feel free to get up, but if you do, please be cognizant of your fellow congregation's silent time, and I will ding when time is up.
Actor and an activist for social justice. He said that his mother had told him to never go to bed at night having not done something, some fight for social justice each day. I have dubbed Harry an existentialist saint.
John Rowan said, "Only by giving are you ready to receive more than you already have." So if I could get a couple of people to get an offering plate and pass it around.
Thank you for the time.
Our fabulous Jean Heinrich is going to play us some special music.
This is a piece that I wrote an excerpt of. It's entitled Wizard Diary. Deep, down deep within each of us is a chamber where a wizard works, standing dangerously close to the fire in the pit, stirring, stirring, stirring the contents of a cauldron with dedicated alchemy. The wizard is reconfiguring molecules into new elements and memories into new meanings. Stirring, stirring. This is the wizard's work. This song is for you, wizard, in your midnight blue. I am so grateful you are here. With your magic
No, that took me away to another place completely.
Good. Very good.
Beautiful.
Good. That's what soldiers called us in the war. They called the mental health people wizards. That's where that comes from.
Amazing. We have a legal and moral obligation to protect people fleeing bombs, bullets, and tyrants. And throughout history, those people have enriched our society. That's from Juliet Stevenson. No one puts their children in a boat unless the water is safer than the land. From Morrison Shire. And from President Jimmy Carter. We have become not a melting pot, but a beautiful mosaic. Different people, different beliefs, different yearnings, different hopes, different dreams. Okay, our featured speaker today is Doris Mukangu. Doris is the founder of the Amani Women's Center based in Clarkston. She moved to America 20 years ago to pursue a higher education in Alabama. And then she came to America to get her graduate at Emory University. With the vision of helping women who come from a similar background or with similar experiences as hers. With this passion running through her veins, she founded the Amani Women's Center in 2007 with the vision to create a safe place for refugee and immigrant women to learn to be self-sufficient and to achieve their maximum potential. One of the programs of the AWC is the Amani Sewing Academy, or the ASA. And this program is unique in that it teaches refugee and immigrant women sewing skills and life skills to enable them to enter the workforce and earn livable wages. Refugee women who attend and graduate from the sewing program are able to start home-based businesses, join the small-scale manufacturing at ASA, teach at ASA, or work contractually for Johari Africa, AWC's social enterprise. Products made by the women are a celebration of the different cultures that are represented in the program. After speaking with Doris this past week, I became very eager to hear more about herself and her program. We had a wonderful conversation. And she told me that her American mom, when she lived with, this family took her in for 4 years while she attended college in Alabama. It was named Jan. And I was only her second Jan. So I met her outside this morning and she was like, "This is my second Jan." It's only one. So I kind of feel kind of a connection here. So would you please welcome Doris Mukangu.
Thank you, my Jan.
I want to also point out, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I wanted to point out that we have a whole lot of stuff back there that her ladies have made, and they are for sale, and I've been looking them over, and it's just beautiful, beautiful stuff. So thank you for bringing those.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I am thrilled to be here. I love the colors in this space. They remind me of what our sewing program looks like. We have women from all over the world. It's the United Nations in there, so this really looks like a reflection of all the colors that I'm used to. So this is a nice welcome. I have to mention I brought two friends with me, Reggie and Emma. They're sitting back there. And so you're in for a treat. You're going to hear I would say British, American, well, I would say Southern and African accent today. So So I may be saying y'all. I have lived in the United States for almost 20 years now, and like Jan mentioned, I came here seeking higher education, and I've been here ever since. I think she mentioned a little bit of my journey, but I wanted to start this morning by sharing a poem with you guys, and Jan kind of touched on it. It's by a poet from, well, her name is Warsan Shara, and she is Somalian but born in Kenya. This is typical. Kenya is a safe haven. Kenya, where I come from, is a safe haven for a lot of refugees. We welcome a lot of refugees into Kenya from neighboring countries, Somalia being one of them, Ethiopia, Sudan. So we're used to welcoming folks and figuring out how we can coexist, even with our differences. So let me share this poem. No one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shark. You only run for the border when you see the whole city running as well. Your neighbors running faster than you. Breath bloody in their throats. The boy you went to school with who kissed you dizzy behind the old tin factory is holding a gun bigger than his body. You only leave home when home won't let you stay. No one leaves home unless home chases you, fire under feet, hot blood in your belly. It's not something you ever thought of doing until the blade burnt threads into your neck. And even then you carried the anthem under your breath, only tearing up your passport in an airport toilet, sobbing as each mouthful of paper made it clear that you wouldn't be going back. You have to understand that no one puts their children in a boat unless the water is safer than the land. No one burns their palms under trains beneath carriages. No one spends days and nights in the stomach of a truck feeding on newspaper unless the miles traveled means something more than a journey. No one crawls under fences. No one wants to be beaten, pitied. No one chooses refugee camps or strip searches where your body is left aching, or prison, because prison is safer than a city of fire, and one prison guard in the night is better than a truckload of men who look like your father. No one could take it. No one could stomach it. No one's skin would be tough enough. The go-home blacks, refugees, dirty immigrants, asylum seekers, sucking our country dry, niggers with their hands out, they smell strange, savage, messed up their country, and now they want to mess up ours. How do the words, the dirty looks, roll off your backs? Maybe because the blow is softer than a limb torn off. Or the words are more tender than 14 men between your legs, or the insults are easier to swallow than rubble, than bone, than your child body in pieces. I want to go home, but home is the mouth of a shark. Home is the barrel of the gun, and no one would leave home unless home chased you to the shore. Unless home told you to quicken your legs, leave your clothes behind, excuse me, crawl through the desert, wade through the oceans, down, save, be, hunger, beg, forget pride. Your survival is more important. No one leaves home until home is a sweaty voice in your ear saying, leave, run away from me now. I don't know what I've become, but I know that anywhere is safer than here. It is my dream to one day, someday, meet this poet. Looking forward to that if it happens. Putting it out in the universe. So I think Jan kind of mentioned a lot about me. 20 years ago, a young lady emigrated from Kenya seeking higher education. Her pursuit of a college degree landed her in Montgomery, Alabama, where she completed her Bachelor's of Science. Upon graduation from Auburn University, she moved to Atlanta, a city very much like Nairobi, where she grew up, and where there's a larger community of Kenyans. Doris came across refugees whilst volunteering at DeKalb County Board of Health, where all refugees get medical screening when they arrive in Georgia. So who are refugees? Well, a refugee is a person who's been forced to leave their country in order to escape war, persecution, or natural disaster. I like to always take a moment to differentiate between a refugee and an immigrant. An immigrant is someone who chooses to move. And a refugee is someone who has been forced from their home. The refugee process is very different from an immigrant process. For instance, I came here choosing to come to school and look for higher education. A refugee is transplanted from their home and has to find a new space or a new home for themselves and their families. So that's a way to know the difference. How many refugees in the world? 100 million displaced folks according to the UN report, which means 1 out of 78 people have been displaced. 26.1 of those folks million folks are refugees. Now, to bring it home, how many refugees are in the USA? Over 3 million since 1975. As of this year, we anticipate 125,000 refugees to arrive in the United States. And who sets that number, who comes up with that number, who allows the folks to come into this country is the President of the United States. So the President of the United States decides how many refugees will be accepted into the United States. As of last year, we have seen 1,600 Ukrainians move into the United States. Houston, Texas accepts the largest number of refugees. Georgia ranks number 8. Most refugees live in refugee camps. And refugee camps are makeshift situations. So the refugees live in these camps waiting for a country like the United States to say, hey, you're welcome to come and start a new life. And that is a long process. It's a rigorous vetting process before you are accepted to come into the United States. There are many camps, refugee camps in the world. We have about 6.6 million people living in refugee camps. The largest camps are in Kenya, where I come from, Jordan, Bangladesh, and Sudan. So what does the vetting process look like?
And like I said, it is a rigorous vetting process. So it includes or involves 8 government agencies, including the National Counterterrorism Center, FBI, Department of Homeland Security, and State Department. It includes 6 security databases and 5 separate background checks. It also includes 4 biometric security checks that include fingerprints and all that, and 3 separate in-person interviews. And last but not least, 2 interagency security checks running data against criminal intelligence and terrorism databases. So these folks that you see here have gone through so much before they can be accepted into the United States. So it's safe to say that they're safe people. For the most part, you never know, maybe one may slip through the cracks, I don't know, but I just wanted to let you know what kind of, vetting, how that vetting process looks like. Most of the refugees have lived in refugee camps for at least 10 years, in limbo, waiting, and many refugee kids have been born in refugee camps. So they're just waiting for any country, Canada, United States, Germany, to say, hey, we would like for you all to come here and start a new life. And they get here with only the clothes on their back, and that's it. And so what happens once they enter the United States? They have resettlement agencies that are federally funded, like I'm not sure if you've heard of New American Pathways or IRC, International Rescue Committee, that are able to receive them, find them housing, find them schools, find them jobs, and take care of their needs and enroll them in ESL classes for 90 days. Now, 90 days is not enough to get to get on your own 2 feet. They're still trying to figure their way around after 90 days. They maybe have just started working and are getting into a routine of working, taking their kids to school, and really just figuring out so many things. So that's where organizations like Amani Women's Center come or step up and say, we're here to help you. It's after 90 days, but we're here to help you. And what we are mostly known, well, let me kind of mention to you what Amani means. Amani means peace in Swahili. And it's the idea of a safe haven, a safe space, where refugee women and their families come to and get help in figuring out how to navigate the different systems, different things, in this country. We are located in Clarkston, and for those who don't know, Clarkston is a major resettlement hub for refugees, and it's a city that is only a square mile, and this city is increasingly getting to be known as the Ellis Island of the South. It has over 60 languages are spoken in Clarkston, in a square mile. So as you can imagine, all the colors of the world exist in Clarkston. It's a very interesting space. For those who haven't visited, please come visit us at the Amani Women's Center, and we'll be happy to give you a tour of the city of Clarkston as well. So Amani Women's Center is right in the hub of the city of Clarkston. And we're very fortunate to have a space that is within walkable distance for refugee families to come and seek help. Many of the families have transportation challenges, and so being right in the hub of the community, we are easily accessible. So we're very happy to have that space and feel very fortunate to have that space. We do have another location, so we do have 2 locations. Our second location is on Memorial Drive, and that's where we have our sewing school. Like Jan mentioned, we do have a sewing school for refugee women. And that's where we offer training for women to get skills, to enable them to get employed, earning livable wages. So I wanted to mention that so Amani has 3 programs, and we have a holistic approach when working with refugee communities. Our 3 programs help to address health and economic inequities in this unique population. We offer holistic services and programs from a place of compassion and understanding to folks who have come from a background of torture and trauma. So we do apply a lot of compassion when dealing with the women, especially who are in our sewing program. And because we do understand that there is a lot of trauma in their background and they're really just trying to start a new life and figure their way around. So we offer a lot of flexibility in our space, and it's a welcoming space and a space where they come and find folks who are ready to address many of their needs. So I'd like to take this time to mention our 3 programs. So what we're mostly known for is the Amani Sewing Academy. This is what is considered to be the workforce development, providing sewing skills. And this helps women who are typically stuck in their homes, scared to come out of their homes, to find a place where they can learn a skill. Because they are looking for a welcoming space. And they're looking for a space maybe within walkable distance, a space where someone speaks their language, and a space where they feel free to practice their religious practices. So we have women from different religious backgrounds in our space, and they can come in there covered, and they still feel welcome. They can find when they have to pray, we have designated prayer spaces for them. So our space is saying, it doesn't matter where you come from, we welcome you here. We want to walk alongside you and provide you or equip you with the right skills to make you self-sufficient. And so we, like I mentioned, it looks like the United Nations in there. We have women from Sudan, Congo, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Burma, most recently Afghanistan. I mean, it's really a very colorful, beautiful space. And they all feel welcome and they all get along. And so it's what I consider to be a slice of heaven in there. It really is. And then, so that's our sewing program. And like Jan mentioned, when women graduate from this sewing program, they're gifted they're able to either find employment in the sewing industry, manufacturing industry, or they can train to be instructors in the sewing academy, or they can work for our small-scale manufacturing where we are able to make products for small businesses. We have folks who come here to our space and say, hey, I have a very small business, I'm just trying to, test a product in the market space, and, can you help me make 12 makeup bags? Let's see how it goes. And so we're here to say, hey, yeah, we can do that for you. So it provides a source of income for the women who are training in the sewing program. and encourages them to see that their training is actually makes sense, that they're training to acquire a skill that translates into earning income. So we're very excited about our small-scale manufacturing and always looking for folks who are trying to build their small businesses and need someone locally to make their products instead of having to outsource and maybe go to China and order their products. Just having someone locally do that is very exciting to most small business owners. Our other program is the Healthy Families Program. And through this program, we have a team of bilingual case managers speaking a total or even more than 15 languages. And like I said, Clarkston has 61 languages. So our team members speak the most common languages so that we're addressing language and how language can be a barrier to getting access to what you need. And so walking into a space and finding someone who can speak your language and for you being able to articulate your needs in a language that you're most comfortable in, what a sigh of relief, you know. So it makes the biggest difference. And so in this Healthy Families program, we're helping families tap into resources that are available, that they're not aware of, or need help with putting in applications. Most application processes for anything, Medicaid, food stamps, rental or utility assistance can be very daunting to anyone. I mean, they require so many documents or documentation. And so we're there to provide that guidance and ask them and let them know what they need to bring, and then for us to, compile that and submit it on their behalf. So especially during the pandemic, the pandemic exacerbated a lot of needs in underserved communities. Amani Women's Center was, available to the community to figure out how to meet those needs. And those needs were so tremendous. We had to actually implement a helpline, and that was manned in different languages, so that when someone calls in and says, hey, I don't know if I should get the vaccine, or why, just any questions around COVID. Where can I get tested? Should I get tested? Is this harmful to me? There was so much fear, like every other community, and so many myths to dispel. And so through the helpline, we were able to encourage folks and answer those questions and offer help in dispelling, again, like I said, dispelling myths and fears. And because of that, we were able to work in partnership with the Cobb County Board of Health and CORE to get over 1,000 or more folks vaccinated in the community. And I may have forgotten the exact number, but I think it's more than that. And we put a lot of effort behind that. We didn't want anyone to be left behind because they didn't know where to go to or didn't understand why they needed to get vaccinated, or does getting a vaccine affect my fertility? Women had these concerns in the community. So we were able to have those community conversations and help them make those healthy choices. So that is our Healthy Families program. It's currently still ongoing. With the current inflation, there are still needs in the community. Folks still need help with rental assistance. Folks still need help with utility assistance, Medicaid, WIC, childcare, applying for childcare. Again, the idea is to have a team of folks who will literally hold your hand and help you figure this out, And so we increasingly become known as a go-to place that you can go in with one problem and find out that your other 5 problems can be addressed, So it's beginning to look more like a one-stop shop, and we're very excited about our team. We also have the 3rd program is the Amani Community Ambassadors Program, and it's a leadership program for women and young ladies. This is to empower these young folks and ladies with skills to be community leaders, to address gender inequities that exist within the various communities where women typically don't have a voice. So we're empowering these young women and women in the community to be the spokespersons for their communities, trusted voices, and they do have leadership qualities, and we're just kind of grooming them and providing them with trainings. A lot of them are trained to respond to domestic violence situations. They're trained to, again, be case managers and do some intensive casework in figuring out what exactly is going on with a client that walks through our doors and helping them address their various concerns. I'm especially proud of these women who've also gone through city training, which is research, to be able to conduct research in a sensitive manner. And we've been able to partner with the CDC to conduct research for trying to figure out what is needed and to figure out how to address those needs. So these women are, again, women that I'm exceptionally proud of and especially proud of, and they're exceptional women, that's what I meant to say. They're not, they don't have a public health background like myself, but they have applied themselves, and to see them work so hard to be able to figure out how we can best meet the needs of the various communities is heartwarming. So I also have to mention, so I mentioned the 3 programs. We have currently come up with a program, piloted a program last year that we call the ESL Buddy Program. This program addresses language challenges. The idea is to ensure that all voices are heard and included in the process of community change towards social justice. And as much as we have a space where women are speaking different languages and have folks that cater to them in various languages, we also want them to learn English. It's very important. And so this buddy program is very dear to my heart. We piloted it last year. We had 6 women, and the idea is to have one-on-one tutoring, and it's working so well. That one-on-one time with a tutor or a volunteer helps this woman come out of her shell and actually practice English. And what more do we want for them to be able to practice English and articulate their needs? It seems to be working so much better than a classroom setting, where women, from various cultures can tend to be very timid and scared to speak up and ask questions. This is such a safe space, and you have your tutor, you build a relationship. At Amani Women's Center, we're all about relationships. And so it's so exciting to see the bonding between the tutor and the student, and just how enriching it is both ways. It's just amazing. And so we're very much excited about that program as it's blossoming, and the transformation that we're seeing happen right before our eyes. some barriers that folks may not know about refugees. The most obvious barrier is language. You know, you think, oh, you come from a different country. Obviously, if you don't speak the language, that is your only barrier. No, there are levels and layers of barriers. Literacy is one thing that a lot of folks don't know. We have high literacy levels, illiteracy levels, and so we also try to address those or figure out how to help folks who cannot tap into resources or are not able to access healthcare or any kind of care because of, you know, they can't read or write. So our team is trained to figure those folks who come to our door and see how can we offer that guidance and help you address or get the help that you need. Then we have cultural nuances, you know, from cultures where maybe women are used to seeing a female doctor or, you know, medical provider. We have to be very careful to address, and that's just one example, to address those cultural nuances as we schedule those doctor's appointments. There have been cases where some women have gone to places where they've been referred to see a male doctor, and then they have never gone back again to see a doctor because of that experience, you know. So again, we have to be very sensitive as we work with the various cultures and figure out how to, you know, again, those nuances. And then I did kind of touch on religious nuances or religion. Again, providing safe spaces for maybe like Muslim women in our sewing program to have a space where they can say their prayers. And again, that is saying you're welcome here, and, you know, we accept you the way you are and however you worship, you know. So that's important. So those are some of the barriers I can mention. That some of them, not all of them. Childcare is another, transportation, you know, they're just layers and layers. And Amani Women's Center is here to address those. For women who cannot make it to our sewing program, we offer transportation, you know. So we're trying to address barriers so that we can get you up and going, you know. So with that, I can say we are very fortunate to have right now 74 women in our sewing program, and we have instructors and part-time and full-time instructors. We have volunteer needs, so like I mentioned, the ESL buddy program, we'd love to hear from you. For folks who want to volunteer even as seamstresses, we always welcome that as well. Anyone who knows how to do maintenance on a sewing machine, please. please. You know, the needs are tremendous. We have you can visit our website, fill out our volunteer form, and then you can also see where our needs are for, you know, donations. I know, you know, with 75 women, they require scholarships, and so any kind of support towards that, $50 to substitute what the women are making a commitment of $50, and so per month that would be greatly appreciated. Right now, as of last year, we accepted 27 Afghan women in the program because they really wanted to do this, and we didn't have the heart to send them away. We just couldn't, you know. So they have applied themselves 3 months through the program. We're looking at them graduating in September, so there's a need to support them with scholarships so that they can get to the finish line. But I am so proud of them, and we really want to see them graduate. So any help with that can be would be greatly appreciated. And we would love to invite you to our graduation ceremony in September. So I'll be sure to let Jan know when that is, and you will be so impressed and just you know, just to see how when folks are given a chance to apply themselves and given a chance to start anew and opportunities, great things happen. And this is what we hope that Amani Women Center is telling, a different story of resilience and triumph. Thank you so much.
Wow, I'm amazed by people like you. I'm just, you can tell that your heart is really into it. Before I have our closing remarks, we will have our closing congregational song. Please rise in body and spirit, as your will and able.
You all, if I could, after the service, would you please bring me all of these handouts so I can keep them connected and don't have to keep running off more words? Please? Okay, so we have more power than we know. And rise in body and spirit. And the main thing about this song is the spirit of it. So I'm just gonna, this song was inspired by Senator Ralph Warnock, our senator who wrote a book entitled, "We Don't Have the Right to Give Up." Yeah, okay. So I'm just gonna play a little of this to see if you all can remember it.
Sunday when our speaker will be the Reverend Marcia Mitchner. And I'd like to thank Jean for the glorious music.
And I'd like to thank the congregation for singing so pretty.
I'd like to end with a quote that we should all know. It's a beautiful poem written by Emma Lazarus, and it graces the inside of the pedestal on the Statue of Liberty. So please feel free to say it with me. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Thank you, everybody.